Time now for the Educated Retirement Show with your host, Jay Kaplan. Jay discusses reverse mortgages and can answer your questions at 951-922-3532. Call lines are open at 951-922-3532. And now, here's Jay.
Yep, here's Jay. Years ago, was bouncing, and as you can probably see, if you ever see this show via video or Facebook, I can bounce quite a bit around. There's a bunch of me that bounces. So thank you for being here on the Educated Retirement. This is Jay Kaplan. And, Dennis Keithley just texted that he's watching the show. So hopefully he will be calling because his friend and mine, Ray Ramirez, is a repeat offender as per Ron Siegel's vernacular, on the second half of the show. So, again, welcome to the Retirement Radio, where we're here on KMET 1490 AM, where we do contemplate retirement and how to best prepare for retirement and how to be happily retired and stay that way. Now, this Sunday is Spring Forward Sunday. Somebody want to call me and tell me why we do these silly things? Sean, do you know why we do these silly things by moving the clock around so much? I mean, let me just yap first. It's everybody's when you move it one time. Oh, I don't like getting up. This is my wife, of course. I don't like getting up and having to leave when it's dark. You do it the other way. I don't like it dark when I come home. I kind of like seeing the sun straight up at noon. So if people want it different, why don't we go to work at 7 instead of 8? You know what I mean? And anyway, that's enough of that. Anybody can call in and give me whatever they think of it. But call in or visit or email www.drheckham.com, or just in case, I'm going to show it to you on account of, let me get back a little. Okay. Hopefully that gets through in case I'm not speaking too well, which you never know. www.drheckham.com or www.theeducatedretirementradio.com, or email me. That's the simplest, easiest. Email is nice because you read it when you want to. Well, you do snail mail too. And just like snail mail, nobody expects you to write back right now. So, do it that way. And be sure to jump over to the Educated Retirement Radio.com, because you'll see about halfway down the YouTube channel's link. And that will take you to the YouTube channel that has all of these shows that are delayed a couple of days because I have to do, I edit out some of the stuff, like my looks, and, I doctor that up, and, advertisements and things like that. But it's all there. The full episodes, the partial episodes, just the guest things. So please subscribe. I also have a lot of information on the website, www.drheckham.com, or theeducatedretirementradio.com. Lots more videos. And as I've been saying lately, when it comes to the Heckham or reverse, know the facts. Compare the numbers. It's too important an issue to ignore or to listen to people who have opinions based on not knowing it. And you certainly don't want to eliminate it based on not fully understanding it. Remember that equity availability programs like this, or the reverse, it's not a religion. It's not a belief system. It's just math. It's added security and flexibility, so much more than just math. So why do you need to get a hold of me at 866-955-2233, 866-955-2233, or 866-955-2233? or just email me best loan today. It's because you need to know more about the choices you really have and how to protect what you already have. So, I have a team of experts that can help and will help you. So please make use of all of us. Just no obligation information exchange. Call me and I can direct you to anyone who you've heard on this show or others. Or look for them on that YouTube station I talked about, because all our information is always given on those videos. And while you're at the YouTube station, subscribe. It's a push of a button, and it's not going to get in your way as life goes on. So, therefore, do I have a day job? I do have a day job. The loan source, the NMLS number is 384565. Department of Real Estate 792630. And guess what? We believe in challenging the status quo. We believe all people need to be active and not reactive. So, isn't there enough that we're reactive for every single day? By the way, you notice I got my old doctor's uniform on. Now, that's not to negate, the fact that I am a college professor when it comes to doctorating about information on the reverse mortgage or the HECM. Don't forget, I can also write you a prescription with my pen for knowledge. I already told you how. So what else is today? Uh-huh. And this, Ron Siegel will like this too. It is, guess what? Oreo Day, National Oreo Cookie Day, and celebrates Americans' favorite cookie. Well, anyway, that's what Nabisco says, it's America's favorite cookie. And it came out in 1912 and cost 25 cents a pound for a pound-size can. So we used to get them in cans, which I think were more biodegradable than the plastic we have now. But there is a limited edition, okay? That limited edition, there are the following types: birthday cake, fruit bunch Oreos, cinnamon bun Oreo. Now you're talking sugar. Key lime pie Oreos. Now that is awfully good. I like key lime pie. Never had one of those cookies. Don't forget, my favorite type of tiramisu, when you see sometimes flavored tiramisus, is Oreo tiramisu. Now, let's get back to this. And Sean, you've probably seen on YouTube or whatever, they have all of these videos about opening a certain package or product. They seem kind of silly in a way, except that it tells you what's inside something before you order it. So I'm not going to go like those videos do and say, here is the package, here's the side, we're going to put it on the... I'm just going to go ahead and open it. It's got one of these tabs here, so it's a newfangled... Now, this is dark chocolate flavor cream, so it's not the normal... Oh, that smells good. You smell that? And so that I may eat a dozen of these, we're going to go on break. So don't go away and grab yourself an Oreo or two or any other cookie, and we'll see you soon. I'm still chewing. And you go ahead and listen. I'm about done. That's good. That was a good cookie. And there I went touching my mouth with my hand, which we're told not to do. Actually, we never should do it. But because of the rising connections with coronavirus on top of all the other regular viruses, which are much worse than that, at least right now. But you know what? That cookie was good. My wife likes dark chocolate. I'm more of a milk chocolate kind of guy. But, we like all of it. Anyway, welcome back to the Educated Retirement Radio here on your favorite planet, 1490 KMET AM radio, the Mighty Map. One more time, www.theeducatedretirementradio.com. And whose birthday was it today? It's Ed McMahon's birthday. Ed McMahon was born Edward Leo Peter McMahon Jr. Got to breathe between those syllables. In 1923 and exited this planet in 2009. So he started as a carnival barker. I think that's pretty cool. And I guess he ended up as a barker on television for Johnny Carson's Barker. Anyway, he then graduated from a carnival barker to a bingo caller at age 15.
Wasn't he a Marine or something like that?
Yeah, I think so too, but that was much later in life. So, but he put himself through college as a pitchman on the Atlantic City boardwalk for a vegetable slicer. So he was the original man, or the original face in front of Vegematic. So he made his whole career out of being a spokesman, and a good one. So you remember him, right, Sean? You were around for.
Oh yeah, I remember Ed McMahon.
Yeah. So, how could anybody put themselves through colleges today selling Vegematics on the boardwalk? Well, a point I'm trying to make is it's so expensive to go to college today. I did it with a part-time job as a waiter at a place called Farrell's with Bruce Cooper, through Cal State Fullerton. But you can't do that anymore, and that's a big shame, and that's a big problem, and that's a subject for another show. But he worked for 30 years, Ed did, introducing Johnny Carson and being his sidekick. He also had that bit part in The Shining, as you recall. But you remember Karnak, the Magnificent?
Oh, yeah.
Now, I have asked Karnak to appear on the show, so we'll see. I don't know if his Skype connection is working, but we'll see if he shows up here a little bit later with his hermetically sealed envelope. Remember, they used to give you an answer first, like Gatorade, and then the envelope would be, what's the question? What does an alligator get on welfare? Or shake and bake, and the answer would be, the question would be, describe a double feature of earthquake and towering inferno. And we'll see what our new one comes up with. But a guy by the name of Leroy Cooper Jr., which we know as Gordon Cooper, the astronaut, he lifted off in 1927 and left us in 2004, which was, to me, he was always a young guy, so I can't imagine him having passed away so long ago. But actually, he was the youngest of the original 7 Mercury Project astronauts. And, of course, you remember this movie. We all do. I really think that's a great movie. But he learned to fly very young and soloed at age 12, got his pilot's license at age 16. So he was played by Dennis Quaid in the 1983. It's hard to think it was that long ago. What I think is a masterpiece of a movie, the classic The Right Stuff by Philip Kaufman. What else did Phil do? Didn't he do the first remake of the Body Snatchers? I think he did. Anyway, but what a great film. I mean, Apollo 13 and a few others like that were also very good, but The Right Stuff had a big measure of something none of the others did. And to me, that was some kind of mysticism. And when Gordon Cooper was asked, who was the best pilot I ever saw? Well, you're looking at him. That was his answer. Here, remember these magazines? There is on the cover of Interview. I don't know if you ever remember Interview. Oh, here's a picture of him in there. I think that Interview was an Andy Warhol thingy, and I think we have every single issue that was ever published. But here's something. Chris Bissonette, who actually has a lot to do with going to school that we talked about earlier. Okay. But Gordon Cooper claimed until his death that the U.S. government was covering up information about UFOs that he claimed to have seen on many occasions, both on Earth and several times in space. He even testified to this in front of the United Nations. And we should have a whole show. We are going to have a whole show on UFOs. Not that we're going to say we believe them, don't believe them, just, talk about different sides of the issue. And on that note, let's take off for orbit here on the Educated Retirement Radio. And don't go into far Earth orbit, just stay to closer orbit because you're coming right back. All right, welcome back. The Educated Retirement Radio here on KMET, your favorite channel on this day in history. In 1930, frozen food hit the shelves of grocery stores in the United States for the first time in Springfield, Massachusetts. Of course, the creator was Clarence Birdseye, who excelled in science in school and collecting bugs. So look for those frozen bug dinners. Now, Ronald and Nancy Reagan absolutely loved. Their favorite pastime was to sit down in front of the television with their frozen dinners. In fact, it was they who actually originated Appreciation Day for them. That day would be actually today. So you remember those, they had metal, they don't do the metal anymore because of microwaves. I think microwave in general did away with the TV dinner, but they were kind of cool. And probably if I had eaten TV dinners my entire life, I'd be probably 100 pounds skinnier and maybe healthier, because being large ain't necessarily healthy. But we promised you Karnak, okay? So here we go. Now, I should have rehearsed this first, so who knows? Okay. I think it goes something like this, right? Does it go something like this? Sean, you remember maybe more than I do. Anyway, knocks his head, opens the envelope, right? Okay, the answer first is free. Okay? Then you gotta... Now I take this out. What's the cost of a HECM consultation with Jay? Me. Free. Okay. Now, Karnak, what's next? Oh, I got it. Okay. Answer. I have to be broke and eating cat food. Don't know if dog food has anything to do with this. Okay. That's it, right? Sean, you knocked him set in the head or something. Opened it up. Blew into it to open it. Okay, here we go. Oh, that was the wrong question. That may have happened too. I don't know. What can I say? What is a common myth about HECMs? That certainly is. You do not have to be broke. In fact, it was never, ever designed for broke people. So, one more, okay? Let me try to do this. Okay, the answer is a caregiver, elder law attorney, a financial planner, and a realtor. And the question, oh, sorry about that. The question is, what makes up your household board of directors? Well, thank you, Karnak, for showing up. I really appreciate it. And now we're going to let you go, and we're going to let everybody else go so we can get hooked up with today's great guest. And then we'll be back, but we won't be gone long. So take care. Welcome back here to KMET on the Educated Retirement Radio, where we are going to be speaking with Ray Ramirez. Ray is a, excuse me, a repeat offender. And that, of course, I got that verbiage from Ron Siegel. And you should be listening to Ron Siegel once in a while, too. I would say maybe every morning. He's on every morning on another station. But he may be over on this station one of these days. But, Ray, we're going to let you introduce yourself absolutely in just a moment. But I want to just preface by saying that what I was about to tell you before we got on the air is that the last couple of weeks we've been kind of concentrating on keeping old people, that's a nice way of saying it, old people busy. And by keeping old people busy, it doesn't mean they have to be at work, but I think most people want to be productive. They want to keep working some way or another. I think a lot of people can consider themselves 100% retired and still do work because they want to be doing the work. Like that mutual friend of ours that went to work for $10.36 an hour, even though he's got a few million in the bank, I think. But I never asked him. But who knows? It's okay. So, that's one thing we might touch on, because I know that you very well do that kind of thing. You set people out to actually do work. So you have kind of two sides to you. You have the side that makes, or I should say, allows people to get to work. And you have the other side, which allows people to have a better financial understanding, number one, and a better financial footing, number two. So number three is I'll find some duct tape, put it over my mouth right now, and let you go ahead, introduce yourself anyway, and take on.
Hey Jay, it's good to be back on the show again. Thank you very much for inviting me. My name is Ray Ramirez. I currently reside in Los Angeles County, Alhambra, California, to be exact. I'm a native of LA. However, I've lived a few different places, and so what I do is I work in harmony with what Jay's talking about. I provide financial education for seniors. I provide financial education for people just starting out. But my focus is to get people prepared for the inevitable, and that is either retirement or, picking a time where they don't want to work anymore. They don't have to wait till they're 65, or if there's some other type of financial goal that they want to achieve, I help people get on that right path. And currently I have two offices. There's one in Pasadena and one in Newport Beach.
But you go everywhere, right?
I go everywhere. I take my education to whomever and wherever. I mean, I've done seminars in San Bernardino. I've currently am doing seminars with AARP in Los Angeles. I've done, a lot of Zoom presentations in New York, all over the country. It doesn't matter if you have access to a computer or phone. chances are I'll be able to reach you and be able, hopefully, to provide you with some sound information that could possibly
Yeah,
help
but you
you out.
go in person too. I know that. You
all
go
over
great
the place.
distances in person.
Oh yeah, great distances, and I mean, I've driven clear to Santa Barbara, down to San Diego, and Arizona. You name it. I mean, if there's a need out there, I'm going to do my best to fill that need wherever it is I can. Sometimes physically, sometimes digitally, but I'll make it.
Now, one thing you left out, or at least I thought so, maybe my brain left it out, your contact information.
Right. So the name of the firm is Revolution Financial Management, and I can be reached at area code 714-343-9206. That's 714-343-9206. That's the easiest way. I do have a web page. I have an email. If you prefer to email, it is Ray, Ramirez, RAMIREZ, .RFM, Ralph Frank Mary at gmail.com.
Very good.
Awesome.
Very good. So let's talk. We are a kind of a retirement show, although I hope everybody else is listening too, because someday, no matter how young you are, if you're lucky, you'll get to retirement. I think even if you're you know what? Even if you're unlucky, you might get to retirement. But we don't want you to look at it that way. We want you to be prepared.
Absolutely.
So, we've got those two different subjects that I would like to hear about today, but it doesn't have to be just those two. So if you want to start out with one or the other, go ahead about, either how to keep busy by having your own business, or what best to look for while you are preparing or in retirement. Those are two different things, really, aren't they? Because when you're preparing for retirement, you're still making money. And if you are lucky enough to be retired, you are spending money, but you still have to have money making for you, even though you are not, like Phil Walker says, when you're retired, you are still in business. Your business is your retirement. So you have to have that running properly.
Absolutely. And we'll start with retirement, because inevitably everybody's going to either want to retire or they're going to have to retire. Either we're going to want to stop working, or we're just going to be forced to stop working because of age, because of health. And the important thing to think about is the preparation beforehand. Because here's why. I think a lot of, and I sit with people that are in their teens, and I sit with people that are in their 80s. And preparation is the key. And the reason being is because we just don't know how long we're going to live. Now, all of us want to live long lives, but chances are most of us are going to live a long life. And what that means is we need to prepare far in advance to be able to fund our living, right, way past the time that we're working.
Right.
So
like Wade Pfau, who's pretty famous in the retirement field, always seems to say that never plan your retirement based on the day you expect to die, because you're wrong.
Exactly. And I just want to read off a few statistics here as to longevity, how long most people can expect to live. So right now, today, a 65-year-old married couple has an 89% chance of one of them living to age 85. That is huge. That's going to be a lot of years in retirement. 73% chance of at least one of the two living to age 90, and 47% chance that one will live to the age of 95, nearly 100 years of age. Most people plan to retire at age 67. I think nowadays people are actually working a little bit later to catch up with whatever Social Security, or to take advantage of maximizing their retirement savings. But here's the thing: if we're going to live that long, we got to make sure that we're preparing well in advance for that period of time. And you only do that by, number one, starting early, or just starting.
Yeah, early is gone already for some of us.
Yeah, but you just start, because I always, I tell people, look, how long do you plan to live? Age 80, and they're like 60 years old. And I said, but it's too late for me. I'm already 60. I haven't really saved anything. I said, well, if you're going to live to be 80, right, do you want to be 80 and broke, or do you want to have some money? So it doesn't matter what time you start. The point is you have to start. And the problem with most folks is like, well, I just don't know what to do. I don't know where to go. I don't know what plans are best for me. And that's where someone like myself comes in and is able to sit with people and customize a plan for them, whether they're in their 20s or their 60s. Because here's the deal: 60% of your baby boomers have never sat with a financial professional. 60%, and these folks are already in retirement.
Yeah.
And it's
what percent of them think that that the health care they have right now or Medicare is going to cover long-term care? 74 or 75% of them.
Yeah, it's kind of nuts out there with what's going on. And I'm not saying that every single baby boomer, every person that's getting close to retirement is unprepared. I'm not saying that at all. But, just like what's happening this past week, the retirement plans that we put in place, let's say we have a qualified plan, like an IRA or a 401k, and we've been contributing decades to that. And then this little virus comes out of China and sends the markets tumbling. People could easily see, 20, 30, 40, 50% of their life savings diminish just like that, right? And so they think there's no alternatives. They think it's the end of the world, but I'm here to say there are alternatives. There are things that people can do even now, even today, to protect their retirement savings and then have it stretch out, long enough to where they're not broke when they're 90 years of age. It's all possible, but the thing is, people need to take action. You can't just bury your head in the sand and think, well, the coronavirus is going to go away, because it might go away next week. But then there'll be something else. There'll be some other type of worldwide event, and we're in a global economy that's gonna cause, the market fluctuations. And if you can protect yourself from these fluctuations, that can make the difference of having a robust retirement or living, very scant, living just getting by. Right. And I don't think anybody's worked all their lives just to get by.
Right. I just don't think people should panic. When it comes to the virus itself, don't panic, but don't think anybody's crying wolf either. Don't keep licking your fingers like I do on the screen all the time.
No, you don't want to do that.
We are a consumer-based economy, not only here but really worldwide. Whether you are the consumers, like in this country, or whether you are the producers, such as in China. Mm-hmm. So obviously it'll affect the stock market, but it's everybody else on the fringes that really get panicked and pull out. Mm-hmm. Remember, like home values, the stock market always seems to recover. Now, how long is it going to take? Who knows? But
we don't know.
We don't know, but we know it always does. And we usually aren't talking about tens or hundreds of years. We're talking a few years here, a few years there. I mean, it really crashed in 2008, 2009. Mm-hmm. It didn't take that long. I'm so old, I remember in the late 90s, the market lost 500 points one day, and it was the end of the world. Mm-hmm. Now 500 points is,
like whatever.
Yeah, exactly. So don't get too excited. But, so you don't sell everything off, but you need more wisdom to make it through, right? And that's what you are offering.
Absolutely. And it's not fear mongering that I'm trying to create here, not at all. But what I'm telling people is, preparation, plans. I think if people were more focused on their goals and their dreams and their plans than the coronavirus, it probably wouldn't be such a big deal. But it's like we just tend to focus on the here and now. But here's the first step. You got to take a step. You got to do something. If you don't want to talk to me, you talk to somebody, but you got to take a step to getting yourself.
Yeah, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I can't stop talking sometime. And I tried to get one of those masks for my face, but they're all sold out.
Right.
The only reason I wanted one, because I think they're worthless when it comes to protecting yourself from any virus, let alone that one, is to make me look better, because the less you see, the better. But, I guess I could go get one of those Lone Ranger masks. That would work just as well. Also for the coronavirus, it would work just as well.
Yeah, it probably would. But here's the thing, Jay. The figuring out the financial part, that's really the easy part. You can consult with somebody like myself. We do an analysis. We give you education. We show you the options. You can go to a number of different advisors. They'll probably do the same thing. Figuring out the financial part's not that difficult. It's that second part that you mentioned, where what if you don't have enough income coming in, or you still want to keep doing something during retirement? And sometimes that could be the tricky part, because people, even if they just want to keep busy during retirement, it seems like there's not a lot of options for them. They'll maybe go work some type of retail job. I've seen a lot in fast food, things like that.
You were the one who originally told me about the big campaign McDonald's was doing for older people.
Absolutely. It was McDonald's this past summer had teamed up with AARP, and what they were doing is they did a campaign to hire 250,000 seniors across the country to fill McDonald's jobs. Now, part of that is, do some of these seniors just want to keep busy and
Right.
Keep in the workforce? Sure. But I tend to believe that a far majority of the folks that were looking toward these jobs is because they needed the income too. Right. So we've got a double fold, situation going on here, where you just might need more income, during your retirement, or you want to keep busy. And for me, if you can keep busy helping other people and make the income, I think that's probably the best choice. And here's where even somebody like myself comes in. I have a couple different locations, but we're spread out throughout the whole United States. I think my oldest agent that works with me is 72 years old. My youngest is 21.
Well,
right?
I've talked to you about some people, and I'm not a licensed agent with you, but I'm older than that.
Yeah.
I wish I were 72. Thank you for thinking of it. I have a birthday in a couple of weeks. I'm going to be 74.
But and happy birthday, by the way.
Oh, going on 120, but yeah.
I'm going to be 54 on the 19th of this month.
Wow, you're big time. You and I are only one day off?
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, and my wife is the 24th.
But here's the thing, about this. There's so much that people who have become advanced in age have to offer. And especially, I tell them, especially in the arena of financial services, because you don't need a whole lot of credentials to come in. You could do it part-time. You could even do it from your home. And another thing, too, is you have gone through life. You have seen the downturns in the market. You have seen the changes in our economy. And there's so much wisdom that people who have gray hairs can offer to those that are just kind of younger. And I'm not saying there's not sharp young people out there that know what they're doing. There is. But I always tell, my younger agents, I said, don't get offended. But, when you're sitting with a baby boomer who's 67, chances are they're going to want to sit with somebody who looks more like them, who's been through life like they have. So I usually don't send my young agents out to meet with the boomers or people that are a bit older, because it's just so much easier to communicate with somebody who you have things in common with, even if it's just from an age perspective. And so I encourage people, if you're looking for an opportunity, even part-time, and you want to keep yourself busy, but you want to go out, share some of your experience, share some of your knowledge, and also share some education that I can easily teach people. It's worth looking into.
Yeah. And what is the path you're speaking of?
So what I'm talking about is being able to become familiar and educated enough in financial services where somebody can go out and take this information to other individuals, to other businesses, to go to your local AARP. That's what I did, and I'm taking the education there and introducing it to people that probably never heard this stuff before. They put their money in a bank and a 401k. They don't even know there's any other options. And just learning how to talk to people about these kind of things, because it's a shame in our country and in our culture where people don't like to talk about religion, politics, and money. Those are
the three topics.
Oh, I love them.
Yeah. Because that's how you tell your real friends are. If you can talk politics, especially with someone who is completely opposite than you in politics, and you get along fine and you can learn from each other, that's the epitome of communication.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And the thing about financial services is people think, well, I have to have this degree and I have to have COO and this and that behind my name. No way. number one thing is being able just to communicate with people. It's 90% people skills, 10%, products and services.
Right.
90% people skills, 10% products and services. Because if you're not a good communicator, it's going to be very difficult for me to teach you how to do that. I can show you the difference between a Roth and a 401k pretty easily. You'll pick it up like that. But it's those interpersonal skills. And what I mean by that is being able to get on people's levels, to be able to empathize with them, to be able to listen to them. Number one skill I think most of us have lost nowadays is just sitting and listening to somebody. I think people want to share, what's going on with their lives, even from a financial perspective, but usually they don't have somebody that's just willing to sit there and listen to them. Right. So there's no special skills that you need other than, learning how to make a friend, learning how to be a good listener. All the other stuff, I don't care how old you are or how young you are, that's something that you can learn. If you have a phone and it has a calculator on it, boom, we're in business.
Yeah, now one thing Ray turned me on to, I don't mind using turned on because that's something from my generation.
Right.
Things like, at the end of the day, that's no, not for me. And then nowadays it's reach out. I'm reaching out to you. I can't handle those things. I don't like that phrase. However, Ray did reach out to me with the ability to take a class on insurance. Not that I'm going in the insurance business, but to learn about what might be good for me. And you know what? The class is like almost free. It's not quite, but it might as well be. It's so cheap. And I passed another test on it earlier before the show. And I recommend you do that because so you can learn what's good for yourself. And if you want to learn how to do that, give Ray a call or a contact. We unfortunately don't have his information on the screen, and that's because I thought I had it. My fault, but I can make up for it. So, when you go watch the video, it'll be there then. And call me or call Ray to get more of that information directly from him.
Absolutely. And there's a couple things I can guarantee. One of them, you're going to learn a lot more about money than you probably know today. That's one guarantee. And as Jay brought out, if you start applying it to yourselves, you're going to see a change in your life. Don't matter if you're 18 or 88, you're still going to see a change in your life. Okay. The second thing is financial services is one of the top 3 paying industries in this country outside of sports and entertainment. I tell people, look, even if you want to come in part-time and just make an extra $1,000 a month, I think that's pretty doable for most people. So
you can be a rock star or you can be a financial, I'm going to pull short of saying a financial advisor because you don't need that much education for that.
No, you don't.
Just a content. Wait, I can't believe I'm looking up at the clock here. I can't believe it's almost over.
Yeah, that went by pretty fast.
I know. Well, you know what? When you get this old, life goes by pretty fast, it seems like. But, before we forget to sign off, give us all of your contact information again.
Okay. So I'm going to start with my phone number. That's probably the easiest way to get a hold of me. 714.
And the most personal, so don't let me.
And the most personal.
So start over then.
714-343-9206. 714-343-9206. I answer all calls, texts, you name it, 24/7. Okay. The next thing is you can email me. It's my first name, Ray, R-A-Y. Last name is Ramirez, so it's Ray.Ramirez, R-A-M-I-R-E-Z .RFM, Revolution Financial Management @gmail.com.
Yeah, say it again without spreading out what it stands for.
So it's RAY.RAMIREZ.RFM @gmail.com.
Yeah, and if you don't, I always spell Ramirez wrong. I don't know why. I've got it in my brain. But you know what? The computer or the phone just corrects you, puts that red line under it, you hit it, fixes it, and now it's like I always knew how to spell his name. So don't worry about that if you're weird like me.
No worries. And like I said, I'm not saying this is for everybody, but it could be. It could be, and you don't know until you take a chance.
Wow, I had that light on. I didn't know I had that light on, but that's good. It probably flushed me out. You couldn't see me. That was good. So yeah, that's very, very much so. Before I was going to say before we pass, no, I didn't want to go to that. I took quite a while ago. I took I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago. I went to a webinar, not a webinar, an in-person seminar, and about sales. This person had us go on the web to this site that would tell us how old we would be when we earned our wings. And, it's a list of questions, and I answered them all. I didn't lie about any. I told them I was overweight. I had the diabetes. I had everything. The only question I didn't answer truthfully was about flossing, because I don't have enough teeth to floss between. I went from regular floss to pipe cleaners, then to fuller brush thing. But, so it said 90, but that disappoints me. I want more.
We all want more, and chances are we're probably going to get more. We're probably going to get more.
I think I've said on the show a few times before, the largest single growing group in this country are the 100-year-olds. And that's followed by the 85-year-olds. So
and it's a blessing.
It is a blessing. We just have to learn how to handle it.
Exactly. But at the same time, you're right. It's the preparation that will ensure that you have a magnificent 80s, 90s, and God bless you if you live to be 100.
Yeah, or, since I was a biology student way back when, 120 is the actual age that we are biologically supposed to last till. Mm-hmm. That's what we were produced as. And it's a good thing that never came with a guarantee. That's like cars. We're only given 1-year guarantees for a while. It's right. The last. Nobody's giving us a 120-year guarantee, but it's coming. It's definitely coming.
It's true. They say babies born today have a chance of living to, get this, 150 years of age because of the advances of medicine and science.
Yeah, well, today, if you sign up for a reverse mortgage, and, we're not talking about reverse mortgages here, but legally you have to pay that back when you reach 150. So keep that in mind. Okay.
I sure will.
You don't want time to go by without realizing it like that.
Well, I got 100 more years to go, so I think I'll be able to make it.
Yeah, so you're 1/3 of the way through, right?
Right, that's right.
Okay. Well, you're looking good for 1/3.
Thank you, sir.
So you're 50, what did you say?
I'll be 54.
I will be 70. Yeah, I'm 74 going on 14, when you mentally anyway.
Right.
But we've got to go, believe it or not. But I really want to thank you.
You're
welcome,
I
guess
Jay.
For everything we didn't talk about today, we'll talk about next time when you're on the show.
Absolutely.
And hang on, when we're off, I have a quick question for you or two.
Sure.
And then, Sean, thank you so much for helping us through this. And I really want to thank everybody who's listening. You're number one. And we all appreciate you being here. Remember, daylight savings next time. I will see you, so I'll see you an hour different than now. And everybody have a great, great weekend. And remember, Kaplan will be here in front of this same cigar store on this corner next week.
You